Everybody, I'm super excited today. I want to make sure that technology is working, so make sure you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. I'm going to be wearing my mask once the baby's in the room, so I'm going to try and talk really loud. So if you can't hear me during different periods, by all means, pop a comment in and I'll try and talk louder. I don't use a shusher, I use a heartbeat, turned down pretty low, so hopefully it doesn't disturb the audio at all. So first I'm going to be using the stand-in baby so that I can show you all the benefits and the features of the Swaddle Pro. Our little girl is getting milk comatose right now. So we're going to pop over here for a second. I'm going to show you exactly how the Swaddle Pro works. And if you have questions along the way, again, always just pop them right into the comment section. So the Swaddle Pro is, let me move the stand-in baby for a second. So the Swaddle Pro is just like this. It is an athletic wear fabric that's breathable, it absorbs moisture, so it really is meant to not overheat the baby. The way that it's designed, when you lay it out, you're gonna put the Velcro features on the right-hand side and the flap on the left-hand side. This square is where the baby's back will end up. So these Velcro features really allow you to get the baby in there nice and snug and tight so that they don't escape. So a couple of the little features here that I've got going on, I use a double hem here at the top so that it has extra strength to be able to keep their arms down from escaping. Obviously the Velcro features to make sure that you can use this product with any size newborn, even up to, so I have photographed successfully up to 2 months old, and I've had some of my customers even tell me that they've used it on babies up to 4 months old, which is amazing. So this can really help extend the age that you need for newborn pictures. So when you place your baby on, you're gonna be putting their shoulders just above this top hem. So you're gonna place them on like this so that you can see the tip tops right above from there. So the way that I like to start is I will have mom feed baby first, get them nice milk drunk, put them in, keep their hands up like this, because a lot of the different poses, and especially the poses that we're gonna do today, their hands need to be supporting their chin and their head. So I'll crisscross their hands like this, take this flap, wrap it over, get it nice underneath that arm, take this, pull it a little bit snug right there so that you can get them nice and tight, flip it over, and literally just stick it on the back and you're done. So it's super easy to get them into this nice tight top one here. I'm gonna flip the baby over for a quick second so that you can see the features on the back. So the way that the Swaddle Pro is designed is it has all these back end Velcro features. So this, as you can see, is what the Velcro attaches to. And I made them nice and wide for different size babies, and because I didn't want you to have to worry and fuss about where exactly you're gonna be getting the Velcro onto in order for this feature to work. So you can literally just stick it anywhere and not have to worry about it. Then from here, I'll put this up. I grab baby's legs, crisscross them in that womb-like position, tuck their knees in. So you want to make sure that their knees are as high as possible. So I'm gonna be starting this newborn training with the potato sack upright. So it's important that their knees are as close to their elbows as possible to give them that support. So I'll put their knees all the way up like this. And then it's the same exact thing. You literally just grab the flap and just stick it behind, and you don't have to worry about where it goes. It's gonna always stick, and no matter where it lands on the back of the baby. So this is the base swaddle of having the potato sack or having the baby fully wrapped. Now, this little feature here is called the toe peep feature, and this is in a fantastic way to accomplish the toe peep wrap really quickly and easily without having to fuss about tying their feet as much or having to worry about them being sound asleep for it. So all you have to do is reach in, get their little toes, and just pop them right through. You basically want to make sure that you're only putting their toes through and you're keeping their heels in. These little guys, you know, like to kick. So this feature, by having their heels in, allows them to kick without fully escaping through that. So this is the toe peep feature. Now, if you wanted to do the Pretzel Wrap and you wanted to be able to expose all of their legs, all you simply have to do is undo the Velcro in the back, flip them back over, pull it back up, take their little legs back out. So they're gonna stay undisturbed really because they're nice and snug up here. They've got that good pressure up there. They're still sound asleep. And all you're doing at this point is extending legs, putting this over now as a diaper cover so that you don't have to worry about any of the colors of bright diapers or cloth diapers shining through. And then you have the ability to, again, crisscross their legs in the womb-like position and move on to your pretzel wrap. So I'm gonna be showing you each of these wrapping techniques today and showing you how we'll be utilizing this with the live baby and how the Swaddle Pro really helps you move quickly. I have 4 different scenes set up all at once, and we're gonna try and get them accomplished in under an hour so that you can really see how this cuts your session times in half. It allows you to capture newborns beyond the age deadline and how it just makes your workflow super, super simple, especially if you have a toddler sibling. This will keep the baby nice and tight and snug for safety reasons to be able to hold them really carefully. So I'm gonna just puff this off and I'm gonna go see if our little newborn is all fed up over there. And we are gonna start the training. So if you guys have questions, start popping them in and I can answer them as we're waiting for the little girl to be done now.
Someone asked, where do we get this swaddle?
You can order it directly on the website, which is theswaddlepro.com. Right on there. Okay, and I will talk about the different lenses I'm using, the apertures that I'm going to be using for this, where I've gotten my wraps, my props, etc. So if you have anything that I've missed talking about that you're curious, just let me know and I can always pop them in after the live is over as well too. All right, let's see if we're good. Put my mask on. So safety reasons, of course, I'm using my mask today. I've got my hand sanitizer ready to roll. And I think that's about it. It's nice and toasty in this room, so hopefully baby's sound asleep and we're good to go. All right. All right, you guys, is she all good? Okay, come on in. All right, so this one and this one. Just get this up here. Take this little cutie.
Do you want to make it?
No, she's gonna keep her diaper on for the whole time, so she's good.
Please.
Naked to me is full on birthday soon. All right, I got it. Grab the towel, the little swaddle there. Hello, cutie. Have you compared baby pictures yet? Does she look like either one of you more?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's identical to my 10-year-old daughter.
Oh, really?
At the
Oh my
same
gosh,
age.
so cute. Okay, so again, her shoulders are going to be going right up above the Swaddle Pro here. I'm going to crisscross those hands. Now, I'm not too crazy worried about how the hands are clenched at this point until I'm in the actual wrap. So, we're going to take this, wrap it over, get it nice and snug, grab this side, wrap it over, and then literally put her back. Just like that. So she's in there nice and tight from there. I like to pull the bottom piece nice and snug and smooth so that you don't have to worry about getting creases on her skin. So again, another thing that I did feature-wise is I made all the seams not on their skin. So you really shouldn't have a lot of creases besides, of course, the diaper. That's going to be the biggest one. From here, we're going to be doing crisscross feet. And we're going to get those feet up as high as we possibly can in here. The last time we did a live training, we had a little boy, and he was the groaniest little boy. It was so cute. I love baby groans. So you just take their feet up nice and high. Keep them supported up there while you do the flap around so that they don't get nice and low. And then you literally stick it to the back, and she is in it. So from here, we're going to put this natural cotton batting to create that fullness for her in this area. This is just something that I picked up from Joann Fabric. It is just, again, natural cotton batting. You can get it for super cheap. And I put it around here and just really, I like to try and secure the knees up a little bit higher and then just start wrapping. So that creates that fullness there. Now I'm going to be putting our secondary wrap on this and then our next wrap over it. So this is going to be our first shot. This is going to be our second shot. This first one here is from Fancy Fabrics. It's super stretchy. I love it. And the texture is really pretty, especially for the wrap technique that we're going to do with it. So from here, what we're going to do first is put her in toe peep, put this wrap on, and then do potato over it. So it's going to be toes out. A little deal.
Someone asked what size is the natural cotton batting?
Oh, good question. I'll measure it and pop it in afterwards. It's the length that it came in. So I bought their smallest one available, and then I just cut a strip of it. So I'll have to measure it afterwards, and I'll put the exact dimensions in. Okay, so as you can see, she's kicking a little bit, but she's not escaping, so it's perfect. As long as you make sure that their feet, their heels are in the bottom there, you're good to go. Let me just put a little bit more. Okay, so now into toe peep. You want to find the base, middle, I should say, of your wrap. So we're going to go middle, open it up, pick her up.
Someone else asked, my baby is getting pretty hot in the swaddle, but it was really hot outside. How long do you recommend keeping them in there?
It really depends on how many layers you're using with it. So we're inside today. It's still pretty toasty. We're in the middle of a heat wave here as well. So we're going to be doing about an hour long within these wraps, and she should be good. If you are working outside in like a really, really warm space, just use the Swaddle Pro and whatever your outer wrap is, and they won't overheat because this is that athletic wear fabric. It absorbs moisture. It is exactly what athletes wear for their clothes, so it will work in terms of not overheating. Okay, so now, toe peep. We're in the middle of this wrap. I'm going to take the edge here. I'm going to tie a little tie this time because we're going to be putting her in multiple ones. So we go around feet, make a little knot.
Another person asked if you'll be offering a promo code today.
So the current promotion that I have going on with it is buy one, get one $20 off, and you do not need a promo code. You can go right to the website, and as you're checking out, you'll see a box pop up for a second one at $20 off. Okay, so there's the first part to it. It's all the way up like this, and now you literally just have to do crisscrosses from here. So this is going to wrap around this side, right up over. This side's going to do the same thing, right up over. And so since this is going to be underneath the wrap that we're photographing first, I like to just get it in place and then perfect it once I'm stripped down to this layer for the actual photograph. I just want to make sure that she's comfy and cozy in it, and then we'll be good from there. So we've got the crisscross. This particular fabric I love because of all the ribbed look on it. It makes this crisscross even like just nicer. You can really, it exaggerates it really nicely. So we're going to crisscross behind, pull it down under the bum.
Someone asked how long should it take to get it once I order it. I ordered it in July, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so right now it's pre-order, and we are getting a shipment in. So my manufacturer said he's shipping it out tomorrow to me, and I'll be shipping it out to everybody who pre-ordered next week.
And someone else asked, where'd you get the ribbed wrap from?
Fancy Fabrics. Okay. So just make sure she's going over the shoulders. Okay. Get this way so you can see it. pretty on her. All right, so now with this one, we're really just gonna go around the end and tuck. I like to fan it out a little bit. I want that roundness. Pull it over and literally just tuck it wherever you can find a piece in the back to be able to just tuck it into, because the back isn't going to be seen, so you really don't need to worry about what it looks like in the back at all. So that's that one. This one down, open it up.
Someone asked if you could put in a link after the video's over for the lined wrap.
Yes, I will try. It's on, yes, I will give it a shot. Okay, so now wrap this side over and tuck it in again to wherever you can find a piece to tuck into. All right, so now we're moving on to the bow tie potato upright. So this wrap is a double length from Red Owl. It's their nice cheesecloth, gorgeous, nice little stretch to it. I love, love, love these ones. So what you're gonna do for the bow tie is you take one edge short and the rest extends off to the side. So I just wanna make sure I got it straight. And so the kitty's gonna come up, expand it out.
Someone said the second swaddle is not popping up as an option when I go to buy. I just want to make sure I can get both.
When you enter in your credit card number, that's when it pops up. And if you're still having trouble, send me a private message and I'll pop in after this and be able to help you with it. Okay, so now we've got, she's gonna be here. We're gonna have this amount over here. So you don't need much on one side for the bow tie part to it. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get a little pillow for her head, is, this pillow is just there because there's so much fabric in the back here that I don't want her head to be extended back this way while I do this particular one. So what you do, and you take the long edge, and you're basically going to wrap around once to cover this, and then create your first bow tie. So it's gonna go over like this.
Someone asked, can you deliver to India?
Yes. We ship internationally. It's free domestic shipping, $14 for international.
And then another person asked, how much is the swaddle?
The Swaddle Pro is $65. Free domestic shipping, $14 for international. Okay, so now, this is where we start our first bow. So basically what you're gonna do, a couple things that you wanna pay attention to when you're creating the bow part to it, is her head is just off to the side right now because we're obviously not posing and taking the picture, but her hands are in line with her toes for the second picture. Her nose and her chin will be in line with her hands too. So you want to make sure that the bows line up with her nose, her chin, and her hands so that they're straight underneath her face for the photograph. So what I'll do is take my edges, so you don't actually use the tips, you use the actual long part of the fabric. And you're going to come to find that middle point right here, and then all you do is simply make a double knot. Double knot. And a double knot. Oh, you're so cute. This is my modeling debut. You gotta get my good side. Alright, so then I'm gonna do 2 bows for this one, but you can do as many as you like. So now I take another little piece. You wanna try and get it the same length. Double knot. You can adjust these knots a bit once they're in place and you're finished wrapping. So I'll open these up afterwards to make them a bit prettier. But this is just to get the formation of it started. Okay, so now from here, I'm gonna take this extra piece and I just pull mine simply straight down so that I can make sure, like if I go this way, you can see how it ends up affecting the bows. So I just go straight down. I do not care for this particular picture what the bottom of this wrap looks like because she's gonna be in a furry, she's gonna be upright on a furry blanket, so we won't even see the bottom of this wrap. So this is just this underneath. And now you just start the wrapping process. So this first one, I just get down, make sure that the bow stays straight, tuck it under. Some people like to wrap on their legs. I don't know why, but I always have wrapped on the beanbag so that I can really see what the wrap looks like and how it's coming out. So now from here, what I like to do is I do a little bit of a crisscross from here down. So I'm going to take my edge, and we are going under bows, crisscross. And I'm going to come up this way and then over that way. And I love that these wraps have the frayed edges. They just photograph so pretty. And then you just keep going. And then the last wrap, or even sometimes these other ones, to make it look like I have more crisscrosses, I'll just simply fold the fabric even more. See how it looks like I've now done the crisscross like 50 more times when I, in fact, have not. Your expression. What? You silly.
Someone asked, what size is this wrap and where is it from?
So this outer wrap is Red Owl, and it's their double length. And I think they just got a new, I know they just got a new website. So I think you can purchase it directly from their website now instead of purchasing on Etsy. This way. Sit you up, kitty. All right, so this is my last little piece of fabric here. This now, fold more here, give it more of that crisscross creased look. And we'll adjust it all in just a second. Last wrap over, crisscross, line it up. And I like to make this last one as crinkly as I possibly can. I love the messy look. Like the more texture that I can have, I feel like the better it comes out in the final photograph. So I'll just that when she's in the actual pose. Okay, so now we pose up. Snug it back. And all I'm going to do is again just find a place to be able to tuck it in. You're not going to see the back of this wrap, so it really doesn't matter. Put it right in there. And we've got an adorable little bow tie wrap. Okay, so I'm gonna give her to you for a second, Mom, to hold her while I put the backdrop on our bean bag. She's cozy as can be. Okay, so now setting up for this one, I'm gonna set up for actually two at the same time. So that fancy fabric one that she's wrapped in first, I got a matching drop for it too so that I can do a really nice scene of that together. So this is going to be our very last one. So I'm just going to prep it and get it in there. Clamp it on and make it nice and tight. And then we're going to get the potato upright one on. Now, I use these little rings that you make wreaths on for the potato part of it. So this will help her stay upright. I use 2 of them. I'm going to go directly underneath this one right here. Push it down, get it where I want it to be on the beanbag. And then my top fabric will go on top of that.
Someone asked, what is the posing table?
It's actually not a posing table, it's a beanbag, and then just with the PVC that goes around it to clamp on. So it's a beanbag. Alright. So this is another fabric that I just got from Joann Fabric. Usually I don't love their fur ones. Usually I like the Focati, but this one actually had a really nice texture to it. And I felt like it was perfect for this one. So pulling it this down on there too. Sneak behind here for a second.
Someone asked if they could see the PVC frame and what size are the rings.
Sure, yes. I will do that when the live is over. I'll take pictures and I will put it in the comments. Mine, the way that I did mine is we permanently attach the back part of it to this wall and the rest is just removable because I don't want it to always take up space in my studio when I'm not photographing newborns. So,
What size fabric do you buy from Joann?
this one was just 2 yards from whatever width they ended up having on the spool. So 2 yards is definitely sufficient for what I need. And I think most standard size widths are 54 inches. I want to say, but don't quote me on that. Okay. We're going to be using this gorgeous little headband from Greenworks. They have some really, really beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I love the kind of natural details to it. I love twine, the little flowers. I want to break up all the pink with having a little bit of accents everywhere. And I just want to fluff all this stuff. And so I will have you guys kind of like spot her for this one. So you will have to be kneeling and kind of leaning over a little bit. So it might be better for you to do this with her incision. So I'll show you how to do it once it's time. Let me just set up a couple more things first. I like to just make all this look super messy. All right, now my light, let's just twist over to my light for a quick second. So I use Pro Photo. Can you get the whole, are you able to see the whole octagon from there? So this is the shoot through PLM. This is the 7-foot one. I actually think it's a little too big for my liking. I'm probably gonna go down to the neck size, but it does give beautiful light. And the stand that I'm using is the Cheetah stand on wheels, which if you don't have wheels in your light stand, highly, highly recommend you get it. Does she take a pacifier at all? No. All right. So I'm going to take a quick test shot. Make sure we're good. I'm going to put this on for now. Okay. So I'm shooting at 3.2. I want to have her in focus and everything else nice and blurry. So I'm going to be making sure that I get her eyelashes the main focus of every single picture that we do. And I'm going to put a piece of fabric here so kneeling wise it feels a little bit better for you. Let's see. Because in the newborn photography world, we get wonderful holes in our knees instantly with jeans because we're on our knees all the time. Alright, so that's for you. So you can go ahead and get yourself comfy. So I'm going to be shooting with a 50 millimeter. That's exclusively what I use for newborn pictures. And this particular one is the Canon that goes all the way to 1.2. So are her eyes open or is she just kind of... Okay.
Someone asked what angle is the light at?
So I keep it off to the side. I want the edge of my light source to fall across her face so that I have, like if you can look at her face from right here, you can notice you have highlights and then shadows. I like to have, I feel like when you have shadows, it helps show the plumpness of their cheeks. It helps show their features more. So I tend to keep my light right off to the side. When you're using a PLM like this, because it's nice and round and big, it will allow the light to spill over really pretty. So you should be good. So now before I put her in this, I'm just gonna get her hands in the position that I want, which is just simply gonna be one over the other one directly underneath her chin, just like that. Just want to be able to see her fingertips. And I'm just gonna open up the bows. She's gonna be another brony one. All right. So now, what she's gonna do, and she may be good, once we get her in here, we'll be able to see a little bit more. We're gonna fix up all these little features first and get her headband on. So once they're in these rings, you can push down on your bean bag. That's why I like using a bean bag, because you can mold the bean bag. These dog beds that I see people using, or the hard beds, I feel like you don't get as much kind of like flexibility within it because you can't mold the actual So if you want to just hold her head like that for a second while I put the headband on. Pretty close. What are you dreaming about? It's gotta be something good. Probably booby juice. Okay, so what we're going to end up doing for this picture, I'm going to do a composite, which just means we're going to take two pictures and I'll turn it into one. So for the first one, you're just going to hold up like this. She's got herself good underneath, and then we'll switch the other hand and just hold her cheeks underneath like that. Okay, so I'm always focusing on those eyelashes. That's the main point of the picture. This, love it. Oh, you are a cutie. Okay. All right, switch over. Go ahead and grab her cheeks underneath. Get it? Perfect. Love all the hair. I love photographing babies with hair. Okay, so we are good with that one, and we're immediately going to move on to the toe peep. So you can see how quickly we can capture these and cut the session times in half. All right, give it to you for just a second so I can just flip this fabric bag, and then I'll take it right back.
Someone asked, how do you keep the baby asleep?
The Swaddle Pro and Booby Juice. Big time, works together, it's amazing. So I have my heartbeat machine on, but it's very low so that you guys can hear me. But I usually have it much louder. And heat, full belly, and then of course, catching them while they're super young. So typically if they have a full belly of milk and they're swaddled right away, they're out like lights. That works really well to get them asleep fast.
Another person asked if you could repeat what camera and lens you were using.
I use a Canon 5D Mark II, and the lens is a 50mm 1.2. All right, so now we start the unwrapping process. Did your other daughter end up having hair like this?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually pulled a picture up that she had of herself and she put it next to her and it was almost identical.
Really?
Yeah, 10 years
Love
apart
it.
and it's like they're twins.
Yeah. All right, so as you can see, she's still in that toe peep. Really simply, all we have to do now is just untie the knots.
Is there a link to the Swaddle Pro?
A length to it?
Link.
Oh, I'll pop it in afterwards, but it's just theswaddlepro.com. Okay. All right, you guys, so she is already prepped and in her next one. So from here, you're gonna actually be good for this one because she's gonna be down flat low on the ground. So we're gonna be moving over to this one here. Let me just get it back to where we want it to be. So for this scene, this trough bowl is from Cheekaboo. This jute is Greenworks. Flowers are Joanne Fabric, and I think this was just Amazon. I don't think this was anywhere special. Okay.
Someone asked when the swaddle will be shipped if we order. When will the swaddle be shipped?
It will be, if you order during the pre-order phase, it's shipping next week. Otherwise, if you're just ordering now, it'll probably be 2 to 3 weeks still. Hello, cutie. Oh. Where did that little pillow? There it is. So, this is just a pillow that I have that I wanted to match this. So I got fabric to go over it, clipped it in the back, and now it's a totally different color. I'm gonna go right in here. Fix this in a minute. And I like to keep my cart next to me of extra fabric in case I need to elevate her head a little bit more. But this is really just a simple soft scene. I don't want any fillers or fluffers or anything else in there but the pillow. So she's just gonna go straight in like this. I'm gonna rib this up a little bit more to really accentuate that crisscross kind of look to it. Toes are perfect. I cannot remember who I got this one from, so I can't say. I got it years ago. But, on this side. You are dreaming about something good, cutie. No, I'm playing with your hair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Here we go. So as you can see, the transition from one scene to the next scene, and you're done. So I will get a couple of different shots from this to use for my gallery. So I will end up doing, I'll probably do a vertical or horizontal, a close-up, and then I've got a little heartfelt piece for her toes. So we'll pull her toes out and put this in there and get a little toe shot. And then we'll move on to the next one super quickly. So with this one, my light is going to be further back and off to the side. So it's almost going to be parallel to her. So I'm going to move it. It's not there yet. So come back a bit to here. Ladder. Just going to move her a bit more centered. So my backdrop is just going to be my own actual hardwood floor. I have 3 different hardwood floor colors in my space. And normally I don't have the overhead lights on when I'm using strobe, but for purposes of this video, I'm going to keep them on. I'm going to focus again on those eyelashes. test my shot. My light should be pretty similar. I'm gonna open up a little bit to 2.8. Now, I'm making sure that my camera strap is around my neck. Whenever you're photographing down on baby, safety's first. And last one. Okay, so now I'm gonna get a close-up of pretty much from here up with the flowers. Then I'm gonna do the toes, and then we're already ready to move on to the next one. So do a nice little close-up. Do these flowers in a little closer. Just adjust her a little bit. Fingertips back out. Okay. Right on again. So now I'm going to get those eyes. Main focus. I'm having from here to here, close up so you can see the face, but yet the flowers and everything else will be nice and blurred. If you like when I tickle your toes. I'm going to pull her toes out just a little bit more so that it's just enough to be able to actually hold the heart in it. This is an extra small little heart, so I can put them right in between her toes. Look at how cute! All right, so I'm going to turn her directly towards the light. I don't care about what the light looks like on her. It's obviously going to be shooting up her nose, but because I'm focusing on the beat, I don't really care. You never want to have, when you're photographing their face, you never want to have light going right up their nose. That's called ghost lighting, and it looks extremely unnatural because you would never see the sun shining up from underneath you. So now we're going to get a nice picture of just the feet from mom and dad.
Someone asked, where did you get the flooring?
So if you shine down at my floor, it is actually my hardwood floor. It is not a floor drop, a backdrop, or anything like that. When I built this part of the studio, this used to be 2 rooms that I turned into 1 room. And my contractor, when he was redoing the floor, I just asked him to paint 3 different colors. Perfect. All right, so now we're already ready to go into our next one, which is going to be the pretzel pose, the pretzel wrap. So I will show you first how I'm going to set up this. So basically, the pretzel wrap is with the legs already fully exposed, not just the toes, so that you can see more of her. And then the way that we're going to be posing is more of that kind of huck fin shape. So, let's scooch her over here for a second. I love all of these crazy posing names that people come up with. It makes no sense to me, but I'll just go with it. So now I just use folded pieces of fabric. I don't tend to use those little shapers because I can turn these into whatever shape I want. So I'm going to put a good amount on this side so that she can be upright like this. She's going to be kind of tilted with her legs going back this way. And then if I need to, I'll use one of my smaller pieces of fabric to just support her bum just a little bit to keep her legs where I want them to be. you.
One of the live streams stopped working.
Which one?
The one on my phone.
All right, can you pop back in and just...
I'm trying, but every time I do it, like, crashes.
Let's see.
Mm.
Hold on, technical difficulty. 1 second, guys. Oh my gosh.
I know.
All right, well, we'll have to just go with this one.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just grab my other headband really quick for her. Okay. So now I have multiple layers here of fabric underneath. So I'm going to put this underneath a few layers so that it's nice and smooth. On this section. Yeah, got some more fabric back here. Man, so many layers. Let's see. Alright, so just like that. So you're going to make an indent here. Looks nice and snug. Take this off. And now we're gonna unwrap her and wrap her up into the pretzel pose. Pretzel wrap. Okay, so we can undo her feet. And you'll notice that she stays nice and relaxed and undisturbed for this, because the Swaddle Pro is still keeping her in that nice, tight, womb-like shape. Okay, so now from here, we need to get her full legs out to be able to do this one. So all we're simply going to do is undo the Velcro in the back. And this Velcro, when you first use it, when you first get the Swaddle Pro, what I suggest doing, because it's definitely heavy duty Velcro so that they don't escape out of it, is before you use it with your client the first time, just kind of stick and unstick a couple times to loosen it a bit. It will loosen over time and it won't be as strong and it won't be a pain. So now, legs exposed. Just gonna extend her open. This is gonna be the diaper cover now. Twist her off to the side and stick. Again, doesn't matter where it sticks, just anywhere in the back is fine. So now we don't have to worry about the diaper color showing through at all. And now with this pretzel wrap, we're gonna start first with a crisscross and then we get their legs all wrapped into it. So her legs are just gonna stay flat first. I wanna make sure that it's coming up over her shoulders for this first wrap part to it. So the fabric comes up over the shoulders. Take one side, wrap up and crisscross. This side, same thing. Crisscross. How cute, Timmy. Okay, so once I get it pulled over, that's when we'll start working on her legs. Now all we're going to do is we're going to take our little feet, crisscross, and go up nice and high. So from here, we're going to take these extra pieces of fabric, go up over the shoulder, wrap down around and secure her leg that way. So I have a little bit less on one side. We want to try and make it exactly the same on both sides. So let's see if hopefully this works the way that it should, with it being off a little bit. So I like to grab a piece here and hold it secure and just wrap right around just like this. So that keeps that leg and that knee in. Then I'm gonna tuck it in the back over here and you won't even see it. Then you take the other side and you're gonna do the exact same thing. So grab the edge, make sure her knees stay up nice and tight. Get that secure so you got her feet. So as you can see, she's got a nice crisscross here. And the last wrap around is to secure her legs and just keep her legs up nice so that we can see more of her legs, her feet, her knees, and everything from there. So now, again, same thing. We're just gonna kind of tuck behind. Doesn't really matter where we see it because that won't be in the photograph. So now, we're gonna put a little hand where we want it to be, just over flat. And she is pretty much in pose. Okay, so now Huck Finn is turned back to the side like this. Head's gonna be on the support that I put underneath here already. I may even add a little bit more, but let me just see when I move my hand out of here. Just like so. Perfect. All right, her bum is up nice and high because of the way that the wrap is, so I'm not gonna add anything else on this side over here. It should be good. And I have this other little headband here. This headband is from Eco Street. Just a little delicate detail. Okay, now the biggest thing that I'm going to change here is right now the light is still where it was, but as you can see, it's shining up her nose, which is not a natural way at all to photograph anybody. So I'm going to flip my light over to this side so that it shines down her face, and then we'll be good to take the picture and move on to the very last scene. So, let me move this down. And, if you can back up for a second. So can you still see from that side? Mm-hmm. So right now, I have it shining on her, not straight to her because I do want there to be some shadows and some contouring for the light, but I really want her to be more evenly lit and less shadows for this one. So she's good. Now, this is where once you get them in the pose, what you want to do is move yourself to get different angles rather than disturbing her and moving her around in different ways. So, I'm going to start being a little bit off this way, photographing down her body. So, I'm going to take a test shot first, make sure the light is good. Perfect. So I'm still at 2.8. I want to make sure that her eyelashes are in focus and that everything goes to soft blur. Since we just popped back in here, since the Facebook Live dropped, if you guys can give me a thumbs up that you're seeing this again, and make sure we can adjust anything if we need to. Now, what I'll do is I'll get an angle down this way to be able to get a totally different picture for the gallery. And then I'm just going to do straight onto her. Okay, now, we're already going to be moving back on to the very last scene, so you can see how quickly you can move through a newborn session with the Swaddle Pro. because it really truly does keep them asleep. It allows them to stay nice and snug. You don't have to have the temperature up 9 million degrees. It's warm in here because of the lights and because it's summertime outside anyway, but normally I would have my heat cranked up and everything too. So to start, if you want to come back this way for a second, now what we're going to do, this is the next scene right here, is she's going to, so flip back to me for a second, we're going to extend her arms out of the swaddle, and this is going to be the next pose within here. So I'm going to set my light up first. I'm definitely going to use one of you guys for this picture. Let me just get this back where we need it. One of the reasons why I don't love this big light source is because it gets in the way. Everything. I'll definitely be going smaller. Okay. So, if you want to hang out with her for 1 second while I just talk about this for a second. So, a lot of the times when I'm in a bucket or some type of prop like this, I'll end up having a bunch of fabric in here to support them so that they're not sunken too far into it. Sometimes you'll see the bucket poses where like the baby's so sunken in that all you can really see is barely even their hands and just their head like popping out of a bucket. You want more than that. If you're getting that look, then instead of leaning the baby forward, lean the baby backwards. That's the better way to do it. All right, get up. So now we're going to start taking her out of this wrap. So all she's going to be in for this one is just the Swaddle Pro. Those cheeks, I love that. You got the best cheeks, girlfriend, in here. So we're going to get her little arms out. She's rooting a little bit, so you might see about her drinking just a little bit more milk, but we're going to see what she lets us do here. As you can see, she's giving me the middle finger right now. Okay, so we're going to try and get her arms out. And if she gets mad at us, we're going to let her have a little bit more milk. Alright, Mom, I'm gonna let you give her just a little bit more milk and see if that calms her down. I'm gonna get both arms out since that's what we'll need for the picture. She's definitely trying to get something. Alright, so did any more questions pop up?
Not right now.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about this scene while she's getting a little bit more milk, and then we'll also talk about, let's see, I can talk about my post-production and my workflow a little bit too. So typically, when you're working with a bucket like this, whew, I'm toasty. I love textures. I'm definitely the photographer who likes neutrals. Sometimes, like, her nursery is a pink nursery, so I wanted to give something specific to the nursery because I knew that they'd have a nice piece in there. But the rest of their house is very neutral, and where I live, most people's homes are very neutral. So I tend to use a lot of different texture with my pictures rather than crazy props and bold colors or anything like that. So this particular fur, I'll have to pop in the person afterwards because I cannot pronounce their shop name, but they're from the UK and they have gorgeous sheep wool. They do dyed wool, I mean all kinds of stuff. I have more coming actually, I just went on a shopping spree. This is a headband that we're going to be using for this, and this is also from Greenworks. They have really pretty delicate soft stuff. All of these flowers are from Joanne fabric, nothing crazy. I even found this bamboo basket at Joann's. I like to layer again, so I have cheesecloth in here from Red Owl. I have fur in here that is faux fur from Joanne fabric. The way that I set this up is having enough of a pocket in there so that she can crisscross her legs, lay on her belly, and be comfy. We don't have to worry about having her too low in it. I'll keep my extra pieces of fabric next to me just in case, because if she needs extra support, then I'll be able to do that. I did also just invest in the Freeform from Modest Little Me, which is, I can't wait to try it, but it looks amazing because it's moldable fleece within buckets to be able to pose babies instead of having to use all of this fabric and whatnot. So that is on its way to me right now, and maybe I'll do a little video with that afterwards. So I always do a composite for this particular shot that we're gonna do. So I tend to keep parents on the opposite side of the light. Whenever they're assisting me, I don't have an assistant, I like to use parents for it. You wanna have them on the opposite side of the light, because if you have them on the same side, especially if you have a big light source like this, it's going to cast a shadow from them onto it. So you want to make sure that they're on the opposite side. So what we'll be doing is having Dad's hand on one side like this, and then on the chin, and we'll take the picture, and then I'll compose it and put it together into the computer in Photoshop. So hopefully she eats quickly for us.
Someone asked, I've only used the Swaddle Pro twice. It worked well, but both times it looks like the baby has cleavage. Am I doing something wrong?
So you might just be going a little bit too low. So you really just want the top of the shoulders to be exposed. So I think you're getting a little bit lower, and that's putting the arms together like this. But if you're struggling with that cleavage part of it too, remember, their hands are going to be either, so if you're doing their hands up in that pose, they're going to be over each other like this, so that you can hide any of that as well. The other thing that I could be thinking, I think it's honestly just because you're putting the Swaddle Pro a little too low. Try it up a little bit higher, just so that you can see the tip tops of their shoulders. That should work. And then to whatever wrap you're putting over it, you can just make sure, because the wrap that's going over the Swaddle Pro is going to be higher than the Swaddle Pro anyway. I'm going to take this off for a second. So the wrap that's going over the Swaddle Pro is going to be higher than the Swaddle Pro anyway. So that can cover some of the cleavage, and then use the hands, but just try and get it up a little bit higher. Let's see, what else can I show you with that?
Somebody else said, I know you said what light stand that is, but if we have a light stand already that is a tripod type stand, and there are wheels to add to that, or do we need to get a whole new stand?
So I have seen some people get dollies, which is basically like think about when you're moving like a big box or something. It is a square. I don't know if they use wood, but we'll just say wood. It's like 2x4s that go in squares and they're attached to each other. And then the wheels go on the edges of that. And then I've seen some people somehow clamp their light stands to that dolly. You'd have to really be careful with obviously it tipping or making sure that you're doing it properly and DIYing it the right way that it's gonna work. This particular one is the cheetah stands, so it comes already with the wheels on it. I know Manifold has one as well. I don't know what other brands do, but I love this one. It's like, I think it was $199. It was not expensive at all. And it's honestly saved my floors in here because I photograph on my hardwood floors. I was getting scratches like crazy from just dragging my light stands. So this worked amazing for it. So I highly recommend it. But try the dolly system thing and see if it works for sure. And let's see. So again, lighting wise, I do Pro Photo. I am exclusively strobe. I don't use any natural light at all in my newborn sessions because I want to control it. I want the light to be consistent every single time. I do not want to have to come in and worry about it being overcast outside or not being the right time of day. I just know I can come in, do my job fast, efficiently, get beautiful pictures, make the money that I know that I want to be able to count on every single month and be in, out, and keep going. So workflow afterwards wise is the same thing. Like I use presets, I use actions. I want my editing process to go fast, fast, fast. I want my clients to be still in that excited phase from just photographing the pictures to, 2 weeks being able to see everything, walk away with everything right there and then. So I fully enhance everything when they come back in for their IPS session. They are already seeing everything photoshopped, enhanced, and beautified. Are we good? That's looking good. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Let me just put some more sanitizer on really quick. Yeah, so I would suggest staying on this side so that you can see how I pose for arms for this one.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna have you actually get already into where you need to be. This is a fabric backdrop, so it does wrinkle pretty easily. So I'm gonna hold it while you get down just to keep it from wrinkling too much. Let me feel like this. Yeah, that's good with that. Perfect. Okay. So this one will take me a second to get her into it, so just kind of relax and hang out, and then I'll let you know what to do and where to do it. So whenever I'm doing the hands under the chin or tushy up or anything like that, I start in the forward burping position. Babies really love this position anyway for burping. They're used to it, and it just helps get them sort of fully into the pose before being into the actual pose. So what I like to do is get them posed in my hand as much as I can. Just like so. So they are still in the Swaddle Pro, still having that secure wrapped type feeling. Then I take the legs in the back and just fold the little feet under, and then I like to give them a little bounce to get used to it. Then I'm going to have you hold the back of the basket for me for a second. Get her in where I need. Make sure I don't need more fabric in there. We'll see. Get her down in, get her cozy, let her wiggle for a sec. You got it, girlfriend. Perfect. So she's exactly where she needs to be. Now all I'm going to do is, you move me here for a second, I'm going to take this fabric, pull it up over her, cover the Swaddle Pro, tuck it all in so she looks like she's comfy and cozy in there. Okay. So now what you're going to do is get down a little towards her so I can see the light better. So she needs to come up a little bit higher on this side. Can you push over my little bin there, please? So I'm just going to use my fabric and give her a little boost on this side right here. Good. Okay. So she's actually got herself pretty secure, but what I like to do whenever they're posed like this is I'll have you keep your hand over her. You don't actually have to touch her because it'll tickle her, and then we'll just pull back and forth for the picture, okay? Twist her a little bit more so we can see that light. Okay. All right, so back up. You're good, don't worry. Just focus on her, don't worry about the floor. I'll Photoshop like crazy. Okay, I'm gonna get a test shot first. You can keep your hand there for this first one. Make sure that's good. Perfect. Okay, so now good. Oh, smiles! Yay! Okay, go ahead and put your hand back for a second. I'm gonna adjust with just a teensy bit more. Oh, that's such an awesome smile. Look at her smiling like crazy. She's like, I just needed that booby juice. Just needed it a little bit more. Oh, you working on something? She got that poop face going on. Put your hand on the back of the basket for me again. Okay, one more time. Last one. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. You can put your hand right over her. Awesome. I'm going to do a quick close-up, and then we're definitely good. Can you give us another smile? Oh yeah, you are. The little expressions on the sleeping is so funny. Lots of smiles. Perfect. So I'm going to give her to you. You can stand up nice and I'll hang out that way too so it's easier. Oh, cutie, cutie. There we go, Dad. Perfect. All right, guys. So if you have any other questions, you can pop them in here. I will answer them after I finish up with everybody. You can get the Swaddle Pro at theswaddlepro.com. And I will try and answer some of those other questions that you had about showing. I'll take a picture of the stand for the beanbag and all of that. Pop it right in afterwards. All right, guys.